Hey students, Winterfest guys asked me to share some of my spiritual disciplines, and this one's one of the most important in my life, and that's the discipline of silence. Jesus in his ministry spends time pretty much all the time in silence, solitude, and ministry. It's like his rhythm for how he does things. He goes off and spends time with God, and then he goes in to do ministry. And there's even times when his disciples, they come to him and they say, we got people here who need to be healed. And he says, no, I'm here to spend time with my Father. And he's okay to say no, even when he's got the opportunity to heal people. In 2 Kings 18, there's the story about Elijah, and there's the story of Mount Carmel right around that chapter, and there's these prophets of Baal, and there's Elijah, the prophet of God. And they have this big contest about whose God is God, and they have fire that's going to be rained down, and so they pray to their gods. And what's interesting is when the prophets get together, what do? Well, they start slashing their arms and their wrists. They start yelling to their God, and Elijah starts to make fun of him. He's like, maybe he's on vacation. Maybe he's asleep or something like that. Maybe you got to keep crying out. And so they cry out and they cry out, and then Elijah steps up, and he calls down fire from heaven, and sure enough, God laps up everything, even the water that they poured around the sacrifice. And that's how it works with idol worship. When you got idols, you've got to do all the work. Worship is all about noise, and it's about making sure you do everything, because that idol's not going to do anything. In Habakkuk chapter 2, Habakkuk's talking about these idols that are around and how they don't do anything. They're made out of wood. And then there's the voice that comes in after that, and it says, "The Lord is in his holy temple. Let all the earth keep silence before him." So how do I keep silence? Well, that's a commitment that I've made in my daily walk, that I'm gonna find a time of silence and grow that day by day. It may just start with 5 or 10 minutes for you. Maybe that's the way that you're able to start with silence. But it's something that grows, and it's something that you sometimes wonder, am I just wasting time, or is God active? But that's the thing about the difference between idol worship and worship of God, is we serve a God who actually speaks into our lives. We serve a God who isn't just going to be radio silence and we've got to speak into things and cut our wrists and hope he does something. We serve a God who speaks into the silence if we give time for him to speak. So that's my challenge to you. Find times for silence in your life, because that's the time when God can speak. And it's hard for him to do so when you got white plugs in both your ears listening to your iPod. When you allow time for God to speak, it's amazing what he can do with the silence.